Check one, check two, 1 1 2. This thing working? Is this thing working? Marcus Conte reporting. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the program. Today is October 16 in the year 2023. War everywhere. War in Gaza, war in Israel, war. War in Ukraine. War right here at home. Civil war. Violence, war. And what about the stock market? What about the stock market? Good morning, everybody. I'm back. Everything's working today, it looks like. I think we're up and running. I think everything's working better. Everything is beautiful today. Hey, hey. It's so beautiful today. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Welcome, everybody. Listening to the sounds of Granny Cat. We'll listen more later. Bada boom! Welcome to the program. How you doing, everybody? We are live. We're definitely live. And yeah, so war. There's war breaking out. I think the biggest story is Mr. Jamie Dimon. If you don't know Wall Street, if you don't know the players, Jamie Dimon is a very smart man, Jewish, New York. He's the CEO for JP one of the largest banks in the world, probably the most influential bank in the world. And Jamie Dimon cast a very negative cloud, it looks like, over the stock market, that because of suddenly when the bombs were dropping, in Ukraine from Russia, and Russia was bombing Ukraine, markets were okay. Everything was fine. We'll work our way out of it. But now that the Jew is under fire in Israel, these are the worst times we have ever seen, says Jamie Dimon. Says Jamie Dimon. He said, and I quote, I'm trying to quote him, what did he say? What did he say? I forgot what he said. Fucking crazy, man. So I'll tell you what he said later. What did he say? Say that. What did he say? What did he say exactly? I want to know what he said exactly. He said that the war in Ukraine, this may be the most dangerous time the world has seen in decades. The world, that's pretty heavy. Right? Coming from a very influential guy. Now, when Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. And Wall Street reacts to what Jamie Dimon says, because Jamie Dimon tends to know what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to Wall Street. So is he referring to the most dangerous times the world has ever seen? Really? I mean, they were feeding fucking Christians to the lions. The Romans were, and the Greeks were chopping off testicles and stuff. Or the pharaohs. The pharaohs were burying people in the tomb with them alive, right? So is this the most dangerous time in history because the Jew is under fire in Israel? I don't know. The other thing I would say, it's more dangerous in this respect, because what's happening right now in Gaza is a coin toss between a concentration camp and an extermination camp, right? Listen clearly. Right now, Gaza is an open-air prison. It's surrounded by fence and armed guards. You can't come, you can't go. If you go by the door, if you go to the fence in Gaza, you get shot at or dead. Right? So that qualifies as a prison. It's an open-air prison. The only way out is up, which I'm sure the cowardly are leaving up, right? All the top brass. But it is a concentration camp in the sense that Israel has cut off water, has cut off food, medical supply, power. That makes it a full-on concentration camp. Now, what does Israel expect from doing that? They expect a return on their torture. They expect hostages released, but are they going to put the water back on and the food back on and the medicine back on, even if they got their guy, right, got their hostages back? Or is it an extermination camp? Is the main objective in Gaza by the Israelis to kill the people in Gaza, to exterminate them? Right? It looks like the latter, in my view. Right? It's beyond. It is certainly a concentration camp, but the motive there is not forced labor or some kind of political whatever. It seems to be when you cut off the food and the water, the doctors and the hospitals are screaming that if the power goes out on these generators, if we run out of power and run out of water and food, everybody in the hospital dies. So it doesn't take long before you start killing people. Right? A week, 2 weeks. Israel's playing the long game. Cut them off of food, bring them down from 180 pounds down to 125, right? And then they'll start eating each other. So I do think we're in the latter stages of that. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good morning in the chat. My name is Marcus Conte. We're live every morning, Monday through Thursday. These are real people. Cheeseburger, Jonte Tactere, Weevil Girl, real life is in the house. Cheeseburger, Gothic Harlequin. What's up? What's up? And everybody else who's lurking, thank you very much. Zutsu Cooter in the house. So that's what we're going to talk about. You can't escape it. There is a war right now in Israel. Israel is pummeling and pillaging fucking Gaza right now. Hamas, the ruling party in Gaza, is kind of worthless at this point. They have nothing. They're going to run out of fucking food. They can't come and go as they please. They can't. The only attacks they can launch is from the middle of the city to throw rockets out into Israel. And then they're going to absorb that attack by getting bombed. Right? Because Israel's going to continue to pummel fucking, Gaza. So that's the state. That's the state. Weevil Girl says Israel gave them a day to evacuate, then shelled them as they were. Right? They're not letting them out. There's nowhere to go. Israel doesn't want to house all these fucking people. They're doing it in Gaza. They got it fenced off. That's where they want them to be. They want them to stay in Gaza. Yeah. You can evacuate. Where are you going to go? You're not wanted in Israel. What are you going to do? Jump the border and go to Jordan? We're going to fucking swim to Italy? You're screwed. Right? We can jump in the Mediterranean and swim to Spain or Africa. You're screwed. You're stuck. You ain't getting out. Right? That's the reality of it. Right? So this is my thumbnail today. Jamie Dimon. Is this what he's pointing to? Is Jamie Dimon secretly saying that we are fucked because of Israel? Israel's creating this concentration camp, or this is necessary. Jamie Dimon, the Jew. He may say to himself, "Oh, it's fucking, you got to get rid of these Palestinian people. They're killing the Jews. We already suffered during the war." You don't know what's in his mind, but you do know what's coming out of his mouth. And it's alarming because he's a powerful dude, right? He's a real powerful fucking guy that people listen to on Wall Street. Right? So that's Jamie Dimon. We'll talk more about him and how it affects the overall market, the world, the war. Right? Who's winning? Who's winning the war? Is Israel winning? They're going to kill 5 million fucking Palestinians soon. They're in the process of. And maybe they'll turn the rest into slaves like they did in East Germany, right? They'll have in East Germany, right? When Germany fell, the Russian side of Germany, they produced these incredible hookers. Have you heard of these? They were like 6'2". They were super fucking women hookers, right? I don't know what they did in the sack, but people used to line up to get a East German hooker. Maybe they're going to do that in Palestine too, right? See if they can do that. Get some new hookers. So check this out. This is interesting, I think. 5,000-year-old wine unearthed in an Egyptian queen's tomb behind the exciting discovery. So in Egypt, they used to bury the fucking pharaoh. In this case, it was a woman with all her shit. Stuff her in the tomb and put all her stuff in there. And there used to be speculation. This kind of overrides that speculation that they used to bury people in the tomb alive. It turns out that they did it, at least in this case, they did it in, the servants were buried years after they, when they finally fucking died, they buried them around the queen or the pharaoh. But I think as time went on, some psycho egotistical pharaoh said, no, I need my servants now while I'm in the tomb, alive. And they used to bury them. But nonetheless, they definitely buried wine. 5,000-year-old wine. Now, they say there was no liquid left, but they found seeds. This is what they look like. They were jammed in these clay whatevers. 5,000 years old. Can you imagine if there was still some wine in there? They had to have leaked because where did the water go? 5,000 years, the water escaped. But they found these. Look at this. Seeds. Oh, man. Right? You think that the seeds after 5,000 years are valid? 5,000-year-old seeds. Right? Are they going to grow the same way? It would be fascinating to see them grow. If they grow, they're going to grow. Maybe they can't grow because the environment is so radically different. If they, what's interesting? If a 5,000-year-old seed can pollinate, can grow, not pollinate, but germinate, it would give you a window into what grapes looked like 5,000 years ago. Now, you think grapes may have been the same now as they were then, but you don't really know that. They could be variations of grapes. They could be amazing fucking grapes, or they could be horrible grapes. They could be poisonous grapes. They could be hallucinogenic grapes. You don't know what was in that wine, right? But you have the seed. And this one right here looks like a duck. See the duck? I see a duck, an eye, and a bill. But anyway, fascinating story. No one's going to get to sip the wine, but those seeds are magnificent. The origins of the grape is locked away in those seeds, man. Right? I wonder how much the seeds are going to go for. Somebody better plant the seeds. Don't fuck around. Don't put them in a museum. Here's what you do: put half of them in a museum, and you gotta germinate the other half. Give them some water, right? Drop them in the water, in the earth, and bring them to life. Right? Even if one of those things pop, it's fascinating, right? So this is interesting. Cardinal, who represents Pope Francis, offered himself to Hamas in swap for children hostages. Wow, what a brave guy. He's saying, take me and leave the children alone. Give the children back to their Israeli mama, dada. And you can torture me if you like. What a noble thing. Are they going to torture the guy if he here he is, Mr. Pizza Bala. Perbazia Pizza Bala. And my name is Cardinal Pizza Bala. Hey, Cardinal Pizza Bala, I'll take 2 slices. Fucking Cardinal Pizza Bala. So is this a good thing? He wants to swap? Now the Hamas has no idea this guy even exists or what he's talking about, but it's a noble idea, right? Take me and leave the children alone, right? And we'll be okay, right? This guy's willing to throw his life away because here's the images they're flashing now, right? Now imagine this was your kid, right? And your kid got ripped out from your hands, right? And now the fucking kid is like in the hands of unruly gunmen, people that kill on cue. If somebody comes along and says, "Okay, we kill these kids now," they fucking kill the kids. So it's a scary. Those are scary images. If that's your kid, you want blood, right? You can understand how Israel is reacting because they got fucked, right? 1,000 people got roasted at a rave. 250, whatever. Pizza bar, I know, pizza bar. So what's the difference? What's the difference? Right? This reporter attests that what's happening right now in Gaza is, in fact, a concentration camp created by the Israeli Jew to fix their Palestinian problem. It is one step away from an extermination camp that the Germans inflicted on the Jew in the era of World War II in Germany. It's very, very similar. But let's ask the great Chat GPT, what are these definitions? Do we even know? So I asked, what's a concentration camp? Define it. A concentration camp is a large detention center or facility where people, often civilians, are forcibly confined under harsh and inhuman conditions, usually during times of war or political unrest. The term is mostly associated with the Holocaust, World War II, when millions of Jews, along with other minority groups, were systematically prosecuted and killed by the Nazi Germans. In concentration camps, prisoners are typically subjected to overcrowding. Yep, they are. Inadequate food and medical supplies. In this case, in Gaza, there's none. Cut off. Not inadequate, but none. Forced labor, we haven't quite seen that yet, but that's coming. Other various forms of abuse, dropping bombs on their heads. Yeah, that's pretty abusive, including physical, psychological, and sometimes lethal experiments. So, again, Gaza is a place in Israel. It's surrounded by fence. You might be able to escape via the ocean or the sky, but you might get shot down. But for those who don't have a boat or a plane, you are trapped in a open air prison, which qualifies as a concentration camp because you can't get out. If you go to the gate, you get shot. If you try to get out, you get shot. There's no negotiating, right? That qualifies as a prison, right? In this case, a concentration camp, because the food, the water, and the medical and the power is being throttled or cut off. So it qualifies clearly as it fits the definition of concentration camp. What about an extermination camp, right, where they just out and out kill? Right? Extermination camps were facilities established by the Nazi Germany during World War II, with the primary purpose of systematically and effectively executing large numbers of people, primarily Jews, but also other targeted groups such as Romanian people, and homos and disabled. Right? They got rid of all the fucking, the sandbag. They got rid of all the sandbags on society. So it is, I think Gaza is approaching extermination camp. Right? What is Israel's motive here? What is Israel's end game? It's to, if they're offering the Palestinian people a way out, even for a minute, a brief window, and then rescind that window, it's telling you that they're not allowed out. They cannot get out. And if you cut off the water and food, you're leading to extermination. You're leading to it. Or what are you going to do? You're going to wait till it turns into Hunger Games and 5 million people there start killing each other for food and supplies? Because that'll happen too. That happens in times of starvation. Not everybody's on the same page. I'll eat you before they eat me. That kind of mentality kicks in. So the most notorious extermination camps were Auschwitz and Black Gachau or whatever in Poland, where the Nazis brought the Jew, allegedly brought the Jew in and immediately exterminated. But the Jew has a different approach to this. We're not gonna get labeled executioners, but we're going to starve them out and stand on the grounds that they attacked us first, right, basically. So is it true? Which one is it? Or it's none of the above. Water runs out at the UN shelters in Gaza. Medics fear for patients as Israeli ground offensive looms. There you go. Water has run out at UN shelters. At the UN shelters, right? UN is reporting this. Water, right? You fucking need water. No water, you're dead, right? Right? They got to hope for rain. It doesn't rain because Gaza's in the fucking desert. They'll start distilling the sea. Right? They'll take the salt, like Gandhi. Right? They'll all make their way to the Gaza and the Mediterranean and start drinking the water. And that'll be big business. The Jew will sell water, right? Sell the water, the distilling equipment. So water has run out. The largest hospitals are reporting Israel ground offensive and overwhelming doctors struggle to care for patients they fear will die once generators run out of fuel. So the generators, the power is out, and the hospitals have some backup, right? Fuel, whether it's gas or oil, but eventually that runs out. And then what? So they're not. There's no amnesty here. Do you understand? There's no Red Cross running in to save the day. Israel has declared it a concentration camp. Nothing comes in or out without our approval, right? If you come to the gate and try to, if you disagree with that idea, you'll get shot. Israel has cut off the flow of food, medicine, water, electricity to Gaza, pounded neighborhoods with airstrikes. Well, that qualifies as torture, right? There's no food, there's no water, there's no power, and there's bombs landing on us. Why? Because a bunch of kooks, 1,000 kooks got together and killed 1,000 Israelis. So you're going to kill all of us. 1,000 people killed 1,000 of yours. Now you're going to kill all 5 million of us, or make us suffer. Everybody in Gaza suffers because of this. Everybody in Gaza suffers because of this. No, inescapable. You're inflicting the suffering on 5 million people. What else? Yeah, so they're definitely doing it. 2,300 Palestinians. Gaza health minister said 2,300 Palestinians have been killed since the fighting erupted last week. I don't know about that. If Israel kills 1,200, 1,300, Palestine claims 23. I think the number is much higher. I think when you unequivocally start dropping bombs on people in a city, you are killing a lot of people. The bodies get eviscerated. You don't even know how many people were in that building when you blew it up. Fucking you disintegrate. you blow up. Right? So the death count is going to be harder and harder to figure out. Right? So how does this pertain to the market? Let's see first of all what is the market doing? It looks like the market wants to jump up a little bit. Dow Jones Industrial Average, despite what Jamie Dimon, I'm going to tell you what he said. Dow Jones Industrial Average is shrugging it off, up 156 before the open. NASDAQ up 59, not bad. S&P 500 up 24. So this is what Jamie Dimon said. Jamie Dimon, this is who he is. He's a very powerful Wall Street guy. He's the CEO for JP Morgan Chase, JPM on the New York Stock Exchange. Why you should carefully consider what Jamie Dimon just told the investment world. Well, what did he tell them? What did he say? He said a lot of things, right? But let's see the warning. So this jerk-off writer is reading the thing, and I proceeded to open up the JP Morgan earnings release. I got that right here. I'm going to look at it. Per the usual, I combed through the numbers along the left rail of the first page. Then, per the usual, I focused on the box on the bottom right of the page for the latest commentary. And Jamie Dimon, here's the big headline. It's all over the street right now. Quote, Jamie Dimon, quote, "This may be the most dangerous time the world has seen in decades." All right, I stand corrected. It's not like has ever seen, but seen in decades, right? So Jamie Dimon's blowing the whistle. He's saying that these are the most dangerous times in modern history. And here he says it. He says a lot of things, but here's the gist of what he said. Additionally, we still do not know the long-term consequences of quantitative tightening, which reduced liquidity, blah, blah, blah. Further, the war in Ukraine, compounded by last week's attack on Israel, may have far-reaching impacts on energy and food markets, global trade, and geopolitical relationships. Quote, this may be the most dangerous time the world has seen in decades. While we hope for the best, we prepare the firm for a broad range of outcomes. That's translated, if the markets go down, they're going to short the fucking high hell out of the market and make money on the way down. Wall Street, they don't care if it goes up or down. They just want to be on the right side of the trade. And it does look like Jamie Dimon, to say such a thing is, again, that's how Wall Street would interpret it, is he's a Wall Street guy. And if he's saying these are the most dangerous times in decades, he must be referring to the markets, war and market. But then again, as we've seen, war is sometimes good for the market. What about Raytheon? What about Boeing? What about Lockheed Martin? Right? These stocks are going to do well. So it is rather interesting there that Jamie Dimon has blown this whistle. He's calling for. I don't see it. I mean, I don't see it. I see it again. I see it as it is geopolitical, right? And but the United States government goes along with Israel. What's the problem? What's the? You got to look at this. You got to say, okay, it looks like the downside is going to be a lot of Palestinians are going to fucking die in an open air concentration camp or an execution camp. That's what it'll be called in 20 years. Remember, Hitler's concentration camps and execution camps weren't called that until 20 years later. But this open air concentration camp in Palestine is, is fucked up, right? And here's a top Jew, right? He's Jewish. Jamie Dimon is a New York Jew, right? He's friendly with Israel. You could argue he's a Zionist, whatever. He's probably been on kibbutz, 50 times in Israel. I guarantee he owns property in Israel. He doesn't go there and just fucking freeload like everybody else. The guy's got $50 million. So he's him and his rich Jew friends that love Israel to death in Tel Aviv. Now we have a problem, right? Right? And, need I mention, JP Morgan controls so much wealth. Right? If you have, super wealth and you're at the top of the food chain, like Goldman Sachs, where you give, billionaires and millionaires give their money to Goldman Sachs and parts of JP Morgan, right? More so Goldman Sachs. But if you have your money with this guy, what's your bet? He's saying, you fucking Israel, man, you gotta, this is the worst time in decades, right? This is bad. Right, and you're going to go along with whatever Jamie Dimon says. Right, so he's an influential guy. That's really all I wanted to say about it. This line right here got ripped across so many platforms. That's all I saw this morning. Jamie Dimon says, right, Jamie Dimon says this is the most dangerous time the world has seen in decades. Is it more dangerous than Vietnam? Let's look at the recent decades. Is it more dangerous than Vietnam? Is it more dangerous than the bombing of Iraq? Is it more dangerous than Afghanistan? Is it more dangerous than Syria? Is it more dangerous than Ukraine? Or what almost happened in Yugoslavia? Not Yugoslavia. That was a long time ago. I meant Venezuela is what I meant. What almost happened in Venezuela, where Trump and they almost tried to overturn it for the oil. But so that's what you got right there. That's what you got. J.P. Morgan. What else? So how does it pertain to America? Are we in a police state? There's a new documentary coming out, a new movie. I'm going to watch it, I guess. 1984 all over again. Biden's police state. Yeah. A lot of people see this clearly. I saw it when it was happening. The January 6th prisoners of war, people that showed up on the Capitol steps and stepped over the velvet rope even for a minute are sitting in jail for, on terrorism charges, the worst terror since 9/11. Are you fucking kidding me? That's what Biden's police state is trying to convince you, that the war is here. It's home. It's homegrown terrorism. You see those people wearing those red hats that say "Make America Great Again" and swinging MAGA signs. They are fucking terrorists. They are your enemy. You should hate them. They are equivalent to 9/11 terrorists. That's what they're broadcasting out of the White House, right? If it had, it's doubtful the FBI would have much use. It was a global apocalypse. Seeing it so distracted from an exaggerated, right, the shit that happened in Hamas, happened in Israel, distracted from an exaggerated domestic terrorism crises in which conservatives are the bad guys. And the January 6th Capitol riot was a terrorist attack worse than 9/11. Does anybody in their right mind really believe that the political rally that occurred to investigate election fraud back in 2020, does anybody in their right mind equate that to 9/11, where jihadists flew planes and killed 3,000 people deliberately? Deliberate murder. It's so ridiculous, right, to even side that. But that's what's going on right now. No, they're fucking terrorists. They're seditious conspiracy theorists. They deserve to be in jail for 30 years for showing up. Yeah. The ultra MAGA semi-fascist threat Joe Biden likes to rail against, and that he needs for his election campaign to divide the country further, and to justify indicting his main political rival, locking up Trump supporters, and imposing an Orwellian level of mass surveillance, censorship, and ideological indoctrination on Americans. Is any of that true? I think so. I've been saying it since it happened. The January 6th protest was nothing bigger or less than all of the rallies and riots we had seen prior. In fact, that was way toned down. It happened in broad daylight. It was the most unviolent, destructive, one of the least destructive rallies we saw. As opposed to the ones that occurred in New York and in California and Chicago, where everything burned in its wake. Cop cars flipped over, burned, Molotov cocktail bombs flying, stores looted, ripped off. This isn't even close. It's not even close. But so I do think I think they're accurate in saying the police state. So we're open. Market is open. Let's see if it held. And yeah, we're up. That NASDAQ, yeah, so we want to see. NASDAQ is up 101, up almost a percentage point. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 242. And fuck you, Jamie Dimon, so far. Wall Street, 7 minutes into the session, they're saying fuck you. S&P 500 up 31. Jamie Dimon has also speculated verbally and vocally that the S&P 500 would be 47,000 by the end of the year. And now it's 43.5. So I thought he was right then. I don't know. So I'm going to reinterpret what Morgan is saying, what Dimon is saying. I don't think he was pertaining to a down market at all. I think he's just saying that my Jewish brothers and sisters in Israel are fighting off a terrible enemy, and don't look at the Holocaust. So also a lot of earnings this week. What's going on? All the technology is bouncing up, it seems. Amazon up $1.50. Meta up $3. Microsoft up $5. Tesla up $2.50. Rivian up 5 cents. Tilray down under $2. Uh-oh. Meme stock popping. It might run up again. See if we get another $3 out of it. What else? War stocks. Oh no, Lockheed Martin down. Because I guess, hey, listen, they thought they were going to get a big, protracted ground war. But really, Israel is just saying, fuck it, we're going to cut off the food and the water, and we're going to weaken our enemy to the point of total surrender. When everybody's thirsty and starving and cold and no power, no communication with the world outside, right? Sick because there's no medical anything. People depend on medical stuff, they depend on their fucking medical, fix. Nothing. I think you would, you're going to have a different kind of war. You're having more of a, people that do funerals and dig holes for dead people and build tombstones, right? Tombstone workers. Tombstone and graveyard work is going to be very, very popular in Palestine. I don't think they bury people. I think they burn them over there. So the people that burn dead bodies are going to make a fucking killing, right? So anyway, thank you all for joining me. Mark Scotti reporting. What a day! What a life, right? Fucking crazy, man. Crazy war. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you very much. Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. Thank you, Evil Girl on the Wrench. Calito Bragante. What's up? Gothic Harlequin. Hi. TJ, good morning. Fear porn. Peace, everybody.